So to start, I want to talk about the Mercedes GL 450. It being a budget entry-level SUV from Mercedes, that same platform could be adapted to the high-end luxury model, but its intended purpose was to be a 7-seater family hauler. So the 450 is for those people who want the car but also don't want to absolutely pay a bazillion dollars for a super duper GL 550. The differences being mostly on features for the driver, the passengers. You have more luxuries like, tri-zone climate control, so you have the driver, passenger, and then everybody in the back has their own climate control zone relative to the opinions or the decision of the middle row. But at least the middle row has heated seats and, television. You could have that option included on the 450, but you don't get the heated seats unless you ask for them, or you don't get the tri-zone climate control, which I don't know if it was offered, but I have seen on the market GL 450s with heated and ventilated seats. So I think if you asked your dealer, they'd be, depending on who it was, merciful enough to actually give you the opportunity to have the optioned out car without paying for the 550, because with the 550 you also get the 5.5 liter V8. So for some people, they don't care about the luxuries, they just want the size of the engine. So the 4.7 or the 4.6, depending on who you ask, it is solid. It's 335 horsepower, 339 pound-feet of torque, if I remember correctly. It's 383 or 85 horsepower for the 5.5 liter V8 with almost 400 something pound-feet of torque, or 391. I think it's electronically controlled. But that's still a crazy amount of power for these cars in 2010 for being naturally aspirated with zero forced induction. Come on, naturally aspirated is in the name, and it's port injection. Fancy port injection, but still port injection. But the 450 so far, it is the only platform that I've thoroughly driven. I've driven one for about maybe 60,000 miles, so not a lot, but still. The car was used, so it has a lot of miles on it already, but I think with the mileage that I've put onto it, it has 219,000 miles, almost 220, and the car has been very solid. My goal now is to actually work on the vehicle and say, I changed the fluids, I changed the suspension, I changed the brakes, the important parts of the car I want to be able to maintain and operate like a Mercedes-Benz technician, because at the end of the day, it's a tank. It's literally a gigantic tank. 5,900 pounds, it's ridiculous. It needs to be maintained. So, thoughts and opinions. Very expensive car to own if you are taking it to get serviced. Anything that requires disassembly and reassembly will absolutely beat up your wallet, so make sure you have a massive trust fund to help you with that, because otherwise you will bankrupt yourself. Personally, I wouldn't buy a new car with the money that I've spent to fix the GL, because let's say every year or so it's about $10,000. Over 3 years, I could buy a brand new Honda or a brand new Toyota, but it's just not the same as a V8, and it's a Mercedes. So everywhere you go, it's a Mercedes. People, they treat you differently. I have driven around a Subaru, I've driven around a Nissan, I've driven around other cars, and I can tell you this Mercedes definitely has a presence like no other. It's not a class thing, it's just the way people are. And unfortunately, the bug has bit me, and I enjoy it. I enjoy driving the GL 450. I want to buy a 550 so I can modify that one and be the fastest GL on the road. I'm thinking of a V12 swap with the M275, but that's for the future. First, I gotta work on my car before we even start doing crazy stuff like that. But I really look forward to it. For now, though, I think the next car I'm going to get is a C250 or a C350 with the V6 3.5 liter, because it's an M272 and an M271, platforms that I've watched a lot of videos on, and I want to actually put those videos' knowledge to work. So let's see how things go with that, and if all works well, I shouldn't have any problem working with the M273 E55. So let's look forward to the future. Thanks for listening. Adios.